Good morning, good afternoon, or good night. It's Andrew Jones here. Happy New Year! What's going on, guys? What is going on? Man, I used to say every single year, this is my year. Now I'm saying this is my decade, 2019 and beyond. I seen a funny post on Instagram. It was my niece. January 1st, she put up, I already messed up. 2020 is my year. I was like, man, bye, Felicia. But guys, I want to talk to you guys about making this your decade, okay, and how to have long-lasting change uh, in every area of your life moving forward, okay. Um, Statistically, around this time, okay, between the 4th and the 15th of January, is when people fall back to their old habits. They give up on their resolutions. Okay, where January 1st, you can go to the gym and you can't get a machine for the life of you. Okay, but you go there between the 4th and the 15th, and you could shoot a cannon through that gym and not hit a single soul. Okay, and it's because we fall back into our old habits. And the number one reason why is we are not raising our standards. Once you raise your standards and redefine how you see yourself, everything in every area of your life will change. Okay, you have to turn your shoulds into must. Well, what do I mean by that? Well, it starts with turning your shoulds into must. How many times have you told yourself that you should do something? I should lose weight. I should be more confident. I should earn more money. I should start the course with Angie, okay? I should have more passion in my relationship. You see, people have an endless list of things they believe they should do or should follow through on, and these shoulds carry the same weight as a New Year's resolution. Okay, that is, if it happens, then awesome, great. But if not, it won't be too disappointing because you kind of knew it wasn't going to happen anyway, right? So that's why a lot of people use the word should. Okay, it's the same thing as the word try. Okay, it's a safety net for your emotions. But what happens when you decide something is an absolute must? You must do something. Okay, what happens when you cut off any other possibility than you succeed in? When you decide that you are either going to find a way to make something happen or you will create the way yourself. I'm not sure if you guys heard the story of the war captain that uh, took his soldiers to war, and they had to take their ship to the enemy lines, okay, to start the war. And when they got off the ship, okay, that was their only way home. When they got off the ship, um, the war captain burned their ships, burned the ship. And all the soldiers were like, "What are you doing? Why did you burn our ships? Like, how are we going to get back home?" And the captain says, "The only way we get home is by defeating our enemy and taking their boat. We win or we perish." When something becomes a must, you will find a way to get it done. Okay? Like when you raise your standards and turn your shoulds into musts, you're making an inner shift to take control over the quality of your life. Any area you're not getting what you want is because you haven't raised your standards. Period. Take your relationship, for example. This is a direct reflection of your standards. Some people are in a relationship right now, but they aren't happy because their standard is that they must be in a relationship. And not that they must have passion and excitement and pure joy and love. Others may not be in a relationship because their standard is that they must not be hurt. Okay, so they protect themselves. Now, if you want real change, you have to be willing to do your part, and it starts with asking yourself honestly who you are. Okay, are you a winner or are you always a step behind? Are you the life of the party or are you more laid back, reserved, stuff like that? Now, answering this question And discovering what your true beliefs are about yourself is critical because this is your identity. And the fact that we are hardwired to follow through on who we believe we are, like that's powerful. Consider someone who is trying to quit smoking. Okay. He or she may say, okay, I'm doing my best to stop smoking, but I've always been a smoker. It doesn't matter how hard he tries. His identity is linked to him being a smoker. So his effort is already defeated. Okay. And the days are numbered until he's back to smoking again because we act consistently with who we ultimately think we are and believe we are. Okay. We have a picture of our identity. Okay. And we become who we believe we are at the end of the day. Okay. I was a teenager and I used to smoke a lot. And I didn't set a goal to stop smoking. Not at all, not once. Did not set a goal to say, Andrew's gonna stop smoking. Instead, I just went to work on myself. I was in a period, I was in a season of just change, and I was just seeking something different. I was really young. And I started reading books like Think and Grow Rich and As a Man Thinketh and Richest Man in Babylon and the Bible. And, something in me began to change. Uh, I was changing my circle of influences. I was hanging around different people. I was going to seminars and workshops. And I was exposed to something completely different than what I was used to. Okay. I grew up in the inner city, went to school in the projects. Okay. So being exposed in my later teens to something completely different, a whole new world, which entrepreneurship opened me up to, change within me began to happen. And in 6 months, I looked back and I realized that I haven't smoked at all. I haven't even had a craving. Why? Because unconsciously I raised my standard. I changed how I see myself. And how I see myself and where I was going was in direct conflict with someone who smoked that often. So I didn't struggle with stop smoking or having to quit smoking or anything like that, wearing a patch. That wasn't a part of it at all. You understand? I didn't struggle with it. I just changed who I was. I changed my direction. When you look at a seed, when you plant a seed in the ground, here's what happens. The outer encasement of that seed begins to fall off. It begins to die. It begins to shed. And then, and only then, that's when the fruit, that's when the flower begins to come through that seed to give life. The outer encasement of you will begin to die the moment you raise your standard and become consistent with your actions become consistent with the way that you see yourself. Okay, because we all have that need to remain consistent with how we see ourselves. Okay, so eventually most people simply stop trying to break through that glass ceiling. Okay, and they just chalk it up to, well, this is just my life, this is just the way it is, this is what they tell themselves, right? This is who I am. But ironically, when you do this, you are actually denying who you really are. You are living under a false identity that is based off of false beliefs you adopted sometime in the past or from some experience, right? So how you define yourself, how ask yourself, how do you define yourself? Okay. And when did you start to believe that belief of how you define yourself? Okay. How many years ago did you decide that what you could do and what you can't do? Okay, you have to redefine your thinking. The Bible says, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. We have to renew our mind differently. Okay, don't you think it's time to raise your standards and turn your shoulds into musts and give yourself a new identity? The strongest force in the human personality is the need to stay consistent with how we define ourselves. And you may just find that to be making changes and stuff like that. Okay. But if you want a lasting change, okay, you have to raise your standard. Okay. Not small change. I'm talking big changes will begin to happen once you begin to raise your standards. Okay. And again, just turning your shoulds into must. Okay. So stop telling yourself things like, I should make more money this year. I like make it an absolute must. And the reason why I win and people around me win is because we adopt that mentality. We set and manage our expectations. One, two, we set new standards every single year, and we make sure that our actions are consistent with that standard. Okay. And we have breakthrough after breakthrough after breakthrough. Okay. So that's one thing. Raise your standards. Two, turn your shoulds into must. And the last thing, manage your expectations correctly. I can't tell you how many times I meet people that I mentor and I'm like, what's your goal for 2019 financially? I want to make $1.8 million. I'm like, cool, that's awesome. Now, how much money per hour is $1.8 million per year? I don't know. How much per month is $1.8 million a year? I don't know. Like they set these goals, which is great goals. Now listen, there's no such thing as an unrealistic goal. Okay, they're just unrealistic timelines. Okay, and unrealistic expectations of these goals. Okay, so the way to eat an elephant is how? One bite at a time. Okay, so instead of saying you want to lose like 120 pounds, right? You can't control that really. Only thing that you can control is your daily disciplines, your daily habits, what you do today. What you do now in this moment matters. What you do after you watch this video matters. Stop putting everything out there, okay? What you do, a book that I can recommend to you guys is The Slight Edge Principle by Jeff Olson. It's called The Slight Edge, okay? And one thing that you will realize is that that book is going to talk about this philosophy. This book right here by Jeff Olson, beyond powerful. I had the opportunity to meet Jeff in Oklahoma during my season of change when I was, in my early teens or my late teens. And this book will change your perspective on daily disciplines and how that will affect your future outcome. What you do today matters, okay? So again, you don't have to set a goal to lose like 100 pounds. Instead, set a goal to eat healthy today, okay? Set a goal to do 5 push-ups today, okay? You can control what you do in this moment right now, okay? So manage your expectations correctly this year, okay? And focus on the daily disciplines, raise your standards, turn your shoulds to musts, and break any chains of retreat, okay? Burn your ships, okay? And let it be a must for you to achieve, succeed, whatever your goal is, okay? And take it one day at a time. You eat an elephant one bite at a time. You know what? I have to think about it. Who came up with that saying? Who eats an elephant? I heard people eat an octopus. I thought that was crazy, but elephant, come on. No judgment though. Okay. But guys, again, it's a pleasure to serve you guys. I look forward to working with you in the near future. I've taken a break from social media for the past few months. Social media could be somewhat toxic, okay? It's supposed to bring us together, but ironically, it somewhat divides us, okay? But I'm back on social media now. So guys, I look forward to working with you. Look forward to seeing you all at the top, because the bottom, that place is way too crowded, y'all. Peace. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell for more content that will be coming in the near future. Resale Profits 2.2 is out. Peace.